I'm J.D. Walt. I'm your narrator on the journey of two stories. You know, there are only two stories. And today I want to talk for a few minutes about 20 words. 20 words that come right off the lips of Jesus that change everything, that just brings it down to its essence. Okay, so I want you to focus on these words while I write it. It might seem impractical. I thought maybe we should have them on the board before we started, but I thought, you know what? They need to watch these words actually going down on the board. So here we go. All right. If you count those, I think you'll find 20 words. Whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. These are the words that are surrounding Jesus' call to discipleship. He is making the turn from transfiguration to Jerusalem. Disfiguration, really. And he is saying to his disciples, if anyone would come after me, let them take up their cross every day, deny themselves, and follow me. And then he adds these 20 words. So, what's going on here? I think we could describe it like this. Whoever wants to save their life will lose it. It's the story of Adam. I'll just say A-D-A-M. But whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. This is the story of Jesus. Now, what does it mean to lose your life? You've maybe seen the story there in the beginning of the reader on the ant and the grasshopper. I won't retell that one now. I would encourage you to go back and read it. It is a highly counterintuitive story. And shakes me to the core every time I tell it, and it also puts a longing in me to be that kind of person, to have that kind of mind that was in Christ Jesus. We've come through a couple of weeks ago, I guess it is now, Ash Wednesday. I want to tell you a story that I told on that day that I think bears retelling, that is really on point with these 20 words. It's the story of the Man Gulch fire. Happened out in Montana. I believe it was 1949. 59, I can't remember. Norman McLean actually wrote a book on this. The guy that wrote River Runs Through It wrote a book called Young Men in Fire. And it actually had to be finished and published after his death. So this is a story. Back in about 10 years earlier, the United States Forest Service had begun a practice of firefighting called smoke jumping, where they would fly an airplane over a fire at one of the earlier stages of the fire, drop out parachuters with tools right into the fire, or near it, and then they would go and fight the fire in the early stages and usually get it out. Well, on one morning, there's a dozen of these firefighters, and there's a leader of the firefighters, and there's a fire in the Man Gulch there in Montana. A fellow named Wag Dodge was the leader of the group, veteran firefighter. So So as they land on the ground, they think, you know what, this is a 10 o'clock fire, which means this is like in the afternoon, but it means we're going to be back eating breakfast at 10 o'clock at the station tomorrow. So the crew starts fighting. They have their shovels, their picks, their tools, their saws. They're cutting down the small trees. They're digging trenches and all the things that firefighters do. When all of a sudden Wag Dodge realizes this is no 10 o'clock fire. This is out of control. And so he begins to try to get the attention of the rest of the men. And he can't get their attention. But they begin to get the sense too that this one's not going out like they thought. So they begin to panic. And Wag Dodge has an idea. To our knowledge, this had never been done before. He goes a little bit away from the line of the fire. He lights a fire in the grass. The fire begins to burn that grass out. Totally ashes. And then he does the unthinkable. He makes the counterintuitive move. He's yelling for his smoke jumpers to come and join him. Wag Dodge lays down in the ashes. The rest of the guys are running. Almost all of them, save one or two, perish in this fire. Many of them are still clenching their tools. They couldn't let them go. They couldn't get away from this fire, and they were burned. Wag Dodge lays down in the ashes. The fire comes to the place at which he's laying down and goes over and around him. Whoever would save their life will lose it. But whoever would lose their life for my sake will find it. I want you just to dwell on these words. Just to dwell on them. They are words full of mystery. They're words full of the cross. They're counterintuitive words. These are words that are calling for a risking of our life on a resurrection. And that's what this is all about. That's all for now.